Colorado's latest law enforcement reform has officers on both sides of the argument.
It's truly about making the environment as a police officer better for every police officer.
Donald Trump wants Republican candidates to give him a cut of their fundraising if they mention him, and Colorado's best-known Republican is willing to pay the Trump tithe. The scramble to open up seasonal roads to reconnect a section of Colorado cut off by a bridge that's cracking up. They say planting a tree is hope in action. It's a natural place to end our weekly search for hope and encouragement.
My good news is I'm a new Denver resident, and I'm already feeling like I'm making a difference in the community.
We're all about it here on Next. A new police accountability reform in Colorado is being proposed by some unlikely backers, current and former officers. Our Kelly Rinke looks at how it could bring more criminal charges against cops who break the law.
We're not cop haters by any means. That's not why we're here to do this.
Samantha Reiber and her identical sister Mackenzie Reese share DNA and a dream of becoming a police officer. Both are now looking for more accountability in the profession after recently turning in their badges.
You know, I just feel like that somebody needs to change the ways of this good old boys club mentality.
Reese's co-worker at Edgewater Police was sentenced in February for unlawful sexual contact. Reese was the victim, and she's now suing the department, claiming they tried to cover for him at the time and fired her for speaking out.
And so I think that that's what this bill does, is hold everybody to the same exact standard.
The sisters are among a group of officers who went to state lawmakers with an idea for a police accountability bill.
This wasn't brought from a community movement like 217, where we saw the murder of Elijah McClain and George Floyd. This came from law enforcement.
Leslie Herod, a Democratic state representative, is one of the sponsors. The bill says if an officer receives a report of misconduct and fails to report the allegation, he or she can be charged with a misdemeanor.
You have a duty to investigate when you know your fellow officer has been harassed or threatened or put in danger by another officer.
Colorado FOP and County Sheriffs of Colorado issued a statement Thursday, in part saying it unnecessarily singles out one profession and there are already guardrails in place to hold bad actors accountable. We asked for an interview and they declined.
We're now protecting the public, right? Which is great. It should have been that way, right? But we're not protecting each other inside organizations.
The sisters want to see more accountability, while others in a profession they left think there's already enough.
I think it's truly about making the environment as a police officer better for every police officer.
This bill also gives the Attorney General auditing power to make sure that that police officer database is used accurately. Reese is on the post database. She says she was reported to that database in retaliation.
And Kelly, when we saw police reform during the summer of social justice protests 2020, that moved fast and had huge bipartisan backing. How about now?
Well, so we're going to see this in committee for the first time on Tuesday. So yes, this was introduced late in the game. The sister says that they are still looking for Republican supporters, so they're having conversations. So Leslie Herod seems to have some confidence. We'll see how quickly this moves through.
Yeah, they wouldn't need Republican votes to pass it, but they did have Republican votes the last time they passed police reform. All right, Kelly, thank you. Renters in our state will soon have the right of first refusal when it comes to renewing their lease. Democratic Governor Jared Polis signed that tenant protection policy into law today after he opposed a somewhat similar proposal last year. Colorado already requires a cause for eviction in the middle of a lease. Landlord has to have a reason, like a tenant's not paying rent or violating the agreement. The new law will also require landlords to have a cause for not offering a lease renewal. A similar push from progressive Democrats died in the state Senate last year and never had the support of the governor. The bill's sponsors got him on board this year by removing rent increase caps and taking out a requirement that landlords help with some relocation costs if they refuse to renew a lease. Donald Trump's presidential campaign wants a cut of the fundraising revenue from every Republican who uses his name or his picture in their ads. Trump wants at least 5%. More than that, quote, will be seen favorably. Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert's campaign has agreed to pay that sort of Trump tithe. The request for a piece of other Republicans' fundraising action was outlined in a memo first reported this week by Politico, later obtained by NBC News. A spokesperson for Boebert's campaign tells me they will, in fact, pay Trump his requested cut. Trump has endorsed Boebert, as well as Colorado GOP Chair Dave Williams, who is also running for Congress. Boebert has an enormous fundraising advantage in her Republican primary. She's going to pay Trump the 5%. Williams, on the other hand, is struggling to raise money in his Republican primary. He did not respond to our questions about whether he's going to pay the Trump tithe. So it's a crack in the steel bridge that has caused an hours-long detour currently through central Colorado. And the seriousness of this structural issue means that there is no timetable to reopen the bridge over Blue Mesa Reservoir in Gunnison County. CDOT shut down that bridge last night. We now know that inspectors first noticed the crack in a steel girder last week. They closed the bridge after ultrasonic testing yesterday found that crack extended at least 3 to 4 inches into the metal. Inspectors have even been called off of that bridge for their own safety. CDOT says they don't know the full extent of the damage or what kind of repairs will be necessary or obviously when the bridge might reopen. Until that point, the only options to get from Gunnison to Montrose are a 6-hour detour north along I-70 or a 7-hour detour south along Highway 160. CDOT and county crews are scrambling right now to open up some local seasonal roads for emergency traffic and for people who live in that area.
The state has offered assistance to the local communities in doing what we can to particularly get the routes that are seasonal open. You know, the issue with those routes at this time of year tends to be that many of them are still snowed in. So we've offered that if we can be helpful in plowing them out to get them open faster, we're ready and able to do that.
The bridge inspection was required by the Federal Highway Administration, part of a national reevaluation of bridges, which were made with a certain kind of steel in the 60s and 70s. CDOT says there's only one other bridge in Colorado that used that kind of steel. It's actually about 2 miles west of the bridge on Highway 50. That one gets inspected next.
Winter makes a comeback in spring. I know April's our second snowiest month on average, but we're looking at 2 to 4 inches of snow in Denver overnight tonight and into the first part of your weekend. Chilly this afternoon and evening, and we have winter weather and travel advisories out for the Front Range foothills and mountains. This system will continue to dive south, pulling in some colder air. So scattered rain showers this evening will change and mix with snow around 8, 9 o'clock. And some of that snow could turn heavy across the foothills later on tonight. We have that rain-snow line kind of bobbing back and forth with temperatures in the mid-30s until later this evening. And then when it flips over to all snow, again, about 2 to 4 inches for Denver. Snow winds down mid-morning tomorrow, but not an entirely calm or dry Saturday. So 2 to 4 inches of snow for Denver. Foothill snow amounts could be over 5 inches. And this system will move rapidly out on Saturday afternoon, allowing for sunshine and 60s on Sunday. We get back to the 70s on Monday and come close to 80 degrees next Wednesday and Thursday.
I don't know how Marshall Zellinger does it, holding down 2 full-time jobs at a time. He reports obviously for next year, and he also does customer service outreach for Excel. Several of you reached out to Excel customer service rep Marshall Zellinger about a confusing mailer with Excel's logo that's trying to sell people insurance.
We received a letter from with an Excel Energy logo on it.
This letter contains information regarding the exterior electrical system at your address.
At least the letter in the mail with the Excel logo at the top was not an Excel bill.
When we got this, I contacted Next.
Alan in Arvada.
I think it's false advertising.
Right.
And John in Greenwood Village.
The impression was that they were using a scare tactic to try to get you to sign up for this insurance.
They are just 2 of several who reached out wanting to know about the Excel mailer selling insurance.
The letter having Excel Energy on it gave legitimacy to a company called HomeServe.
HomeServe provides coverage for the parts of your electrical system outside your home that are your responsibility, not Excel's. Like the base your meter sits in.
If I'd gotten this from HomeServe without Excel's logos on it, I probably wouldn't have opened it, and if I did, after reading the first paragraph, it would have gone in the recycle.
If this would not have had the Excel logo on the envelope, I probably would have torn it up and thrown it away as another spammy type of, somebody wants your money type of thing. And they do, actually.
Excel tells me the company approves the mailers that are co-branded with HomeServe to explain the protection plan's value to customers.
Yeah, there's the letterhead.
Which explains the included insert signed by the VP of Customer Care for Excel Energy.
I question, what does Excel get out of the agreement? I assume there's some compensation involved.
Great question. The letter itself says Excel and HomeServe entered into an agreement. So how much does Excel get from HomeServe, and do they get a cut from each customer who signs up? Excel told me the financial terms of the agreement are confidential.
You thought we were going to get it? You thought we were going to get it. Excel also wanted to point out that Black Hills Energy in southern Colorado also partners with HomeServe. Okay, but I only heard from customers who are with Excel that got this letter. Alan in Arvada was curious if they were targeted for their age. I asked HomeServe directly for the demographics of who was this mailer sent to and how many and why and where. They deferred all the answers to Excel, a separate company, and I had not asked Excel that specific question earlier today because I thought it was a HomeServe mailer simply using the Excel logo, not a joint venture.
This is so interesting because I think people have an awareness that this goes on, right? Your information gets sold and companies will try to capitalize on another company's name to influence people into buying something. But this is a public utility, right? They are granted a monopoly in parts of Colorado, and one thing they're doing with it is selling insurance.
There was a privacy section, I'm not going to do it justice, that John and I talked about where it discussed who can get some of this information and who can't. If you're curious of whether you need this or not, Alan reached out to his homeowner's insurance and was assured that he's covered for something like this, but I might reach out to your homeowner's insurance if you're curious, maybe I do need to pay this thing that I got in the mail. Reach out, do your research, and then figure out if this is the best thing for you.
All right, Marshall, I'll let you go because I know you need to get back on the phones with Excel customers. Thank you. So there are groups across Colorado that are dedicated to working on the issue of suicide prevention. A nonprofit in Larimer County says a key to prevention is suicide postvention, supporting those who have just lost someone in their life to suicide, because that event makes them at higher risk for taking their lives. This week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign supports the Alliance for Suicide Prevention in Larimer County. They remember those lost in their community, in the stars on the office wall with their names, and in the actions of that nonprofit. Their Survivors Benefit Project, which covers the basic financial needs of Coloradans who have just lost someone to suicide. It's help paying for rent or a mortgage after an income in a household is suddenly lost. It's help with groceries or child care, the upfront costs for a funeral or cremation, the long-term costs of therapy. Crucially, this Survivors Benefits Project also pays for cleanup services to allow people to return to a home or a vehicle where somebody that they love took their own life. This is important work, and in Larimer County, they're seeing a true reduction in the suicide rate. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491 to get that link to donate. You know I'll never ask you to give if I don't, and you've proven $5 helps, so I'll match the first 50 of you to come in with $5. More than 2,000 of you have signed up to simplify your giving with a monthly donation to the Word of Thanks Fund, so you can get in on every single nonprofit we help. Monthly supporters to the foundation are starting off each micro-giving campaign with almost $20,000. You can use the same QR code or text to get there.
There's just some boys that have that more sensitive and caring side, and he was definitely one of those.
He was a kind, big-hearted teenager, and that he will always be. One of the 13 Coloradans lost 25 years ago at Columbine, and we promise to never forget. It's been 25 years since the shooting at Columbine High School. Throughout the day today, we are remembering the 12 students and teacher who died that day. And we're also thinking of the families forever changed. Ashley Glatter lost her big brother, John Tomlin. She told our Kim Christensen she'll always remember him as the teenage boy with the big heart.
My name's Ashley Glatter, and my brother John Tomlin was killed 25 years ago at Columbine. He was the best big brother, honestly. He was so kind and caring. There's just some boys that have that more sensitive and caring side, and he was definitely one of those. He would help me put together doll houses, and he bought me a Barbie Corvette, and he cut out little red stickers to put as the taillights, and just kind and caring like that. I would get the question a lot of, well, did you even understand what was going on? And you know, it's like, I saw my brother in the casket. Like, of course I understood what was going on, you know. And yeah, you're right. You're seeing your parents grieving, and a piece of them is gone for a while, you know. And you also, I felt like I had to protect my parents. So if I was crying, I was just making them more sad. So you felt like you had to be the strong one. And I've heard that from other siblings as well. It was hard when it happened, and I really got a distaste for the media. I think a lot of people around Columbine did, because it felt like a story, and that's
rightfully so.
Yeah.
I think the media has done a lot of things wrong. We've learned a lot in 25 years. But what is it you wish we knew about your brother? What do you wish we knew?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say his faith was very important to him and us as a family. And it affected the way that he lived his life. He lived it with kindness and chivalry, and you know, the way he treated his girlfriend, opening doors for her, and he took her to Red Lobster, and Michelle, his girlfriend, was like, well, what are you gonna get, John? And he said, I don't know, I don't really like seafood. She's like, well, why'd you bring me here? But he had heard that she loved it. And I think a lot of people could learn that from John, is just, it's the little things that matter the most.
Don't let a little snow fool you. Spring's all around us. Hope for bright days ahead. You can see it in the flowers and trees. The kind of optimism that we go out to collect in all sorts of forms and all kinds of weather each Friday, when we ask you, what's your good news?
Today, Friday, tomorrow, Saturday, we're planting 50 trees each day. So 100 trees are being planted in residential and park areas throughout Sheridan.
I would take planting a tree any day.
When it comes to the good news,
Maple, yes.
This initiative for tree planting is bringing people together from various communities, various experiences, lifestyles, genders, races, and we operate just like planting trees.
This is Junior. He's an umbrella cockatoo.
It's good news to be a part of an initiative that's bringing together so much diversity.
He's my good news. He don't take crap from anybody.
Today we are very happy to see people, our community, to have their trees. This is my good news, and I'm very happy to be here.
Good news is we're excited to kick off our summer.
It's a stress reliever.
My good news is I'm a new Denver resident, and I'm already feeling like I'm making a difference in the community.
It's just nice to be able to give these communities a little bit more of that like green space for them to escape to.
My good news is I get a new tree.
All right, nice job, y'all. Thanks so much.
You get the final word next. Heidi and Mark Wright, you speak about Columbine with such tenderness and sympathy. We appreciate you keeping the memories of those lost alive. It's our collective pledge to never forget. See you next time.